if you're riding a baby horse, I say baby horse, a young horse, a newly backed horse, a green horse, then things are going to change. You're going to have to help the horse and compensate for him while you're training. So what's happening is all of a sudden, with your finished horse, when we were refining riding like this before on another video, now we need to help the horse, because we're not only riding a baby horse, we're also training him and teaching him. So it's going to look a bit more messy. And I think this is where people get a little bit confused, like in that question previously. You know, some people have their hands down, and she was actually relating in a Western term then. So some people have them up, some down, whatever. So important thing I want to mention is, on a green horse, a newly backed horse, a young horse, whatever, is, again, I'd say my hands are low, but my core, my body is still engaged. My seat is engaged, but I'm not doing that, right? So I can give to the horse. Again, I mentioned independently on the last video where I can move my arms, I can bring them out, but it's not affecting my balance or my core, and I'm still in balance with the horse. So on a baby horse, you're going to have to help them, because this signal, if we're going to turn like this, is too close to a backup signal. So the pressure will come directly back. It's too refined for a baby horse. You must make it a lot clearer. So on young horses, we're going to have our hand out. Okay, but look, I'm not doing this. Okay, I'm strong in the core and the seat, but I'm just directing with the rein out to get the nose to do this, and then I will either turn like that or bring him in a little bit, and then I'm going back to refinement. But I've already given him the very clear cue of, there we go, so the head comes out, now we can sort of go back to this position. And then as the horse progresses in its training, you can refine the cue, because he'll understand, if maybe I just bring my hand out and he feels that bit, then he'll start looking and reaching for me. So if I reach down for him, he's going to recognise that as a cue and come. But we will start maybe like this a few times, a few days, and then it might end up from here, and then we can gradually do it from here. But it's very important that a baby horse needs to follow his nose, so you must bring your hand out to make it as clear as possible that you're bringing the nose and tipping it first, or bringing the nose out. There's a big differentiation from doing this to doing that and blocking him and getting in his way. And we must never get in the baby horse's way. Otherwise, we're not giving him clear signals. So again, the hand needs to be up. It's not really about the hand. It's about the shoulder. Does that make sense, Beck? Mm-hmm. The hand can move independently, look, but my body's not moving. It's only when we do this that we're getting into the wrong position, and we're either going to fall off, unbalance the horse. Remember, babies, young horses at the start are very unbalanced. They have to then learn to balance themselves with a rider on, so we need to keep quiet in the saddle and be as clear as possible. We can't be doing this and confuse them, because they won't like it, and it makes it uncomfortable for them. We need to be as quiet in the saddle so they learn first to balance us on their backs. And again, baby steps, we're not going to ride them with full contact, okay, because they don't understand contact on their mouth, and we don't ride them with contact from both reins. Again, on young horses, we want to, in West and in horsemanship, we want to ride with one rein at a time. And again, how do we do that? I mean, does that sound alien to you? Riding in one rein. I'm not going to ride one-handed. I've got both reins. They've got an open door to work with, so I haven't got contact on both reins. I'm just supporting, and I'm there if I need them. But if I'm going to turn or stop, because you said to me, didn't you, the one rein stop? Okay?
Yeah.
So this is something we put on a young horse from the start before I even get on from the ground, okay? It'll be in the groundwork training, so they know how to bend, they know how to disunite the hind. So that's the first thing I'm going to do when I actually back a horse for the first ride. When I sit on him, when I ask him to move, I'm going to ask him to move in a circle with one rein. Okay, so basically I'm getting his nose tipped in, I might use the leg depending on the horse, but we can just get it done with following the nose. Turning him with one rein, so that's the one side to the right, and turning him, I can send him loose. Now he's going forward with no contact and freely because he needs to learn to balance without me getting in his way, hence why we don't want two reins contact on a young horse. So there's his free movement. If I'm going to turn to the left, I just use this rein I give with this outside rein, okay, because again, we'll do it this way. So if I was turning this way, I've got to give with my outside hand, because otherwise I'm blocking him again. I'm asking him to turn his nose, but I can't be pulling on this rein, otherwise he won't be able to turn freely. And that's again another good thing to mention. If it's like riding a bike, so we're not going to have our hands like this, but it is. If you're going to turn out like here, we need to give with this hand as well. But again, my arms are moving independently. So we're going to the right with the baby horse, we're going to the left. But I'm just exaggerating for them to understand it. Okay, so going on to stop with the one rein. So we've done our turning, we've got our open ear to go forward. If we're going to stop them with the one rein, and again, this is very alien for English, I understand, is we really loosen the outside rein. I've still got it, but I'm going to slide down, again out. I'm going to bring the nose, and then basically we'll bending the head at least to 90 degrees, will then bring them, they'll follow their nose and they'll just go into a little tight circle. And then again from the ground, I'd already put this cue on them, and it's just translating it through to the saddle. Instead of me being on the ground with them, I'm actually just up here. So then when we bend them round to a stop, this is a one rein stop, then they literally go in a little circle, you start saying your voice cue, whoa, and then you'll be like, bop, 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 and they come to a stop. And that's how I stop them, or how you should stop them as a young horse, not pulling on two reins. Too much pressure at that point. And that's what we were doing in that video with that lady. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Why are people taught to stop with both reins?
Because when you start at the riding school, there's only so much information that you can take in. So you do have to start at the very beginning, as in, you know, we can say, right, you've got to do this to move the horse. But realistically, depending on the riding horse school, the horses at the riding school, we tell them, then if you do this and they don't respond, then add the leg.
Yeah.
Right? And you are going to teach them, because again, it's more advanced, much more advanced, but that's the way they're taught at the riding school. You're going to use both hands, because on a finished horse, that's how you would stop, wouldn't it? Because basically, when you use two hands, what you're doing is basically a backward cue. It's when you use two hands on a refined horse, you bring it back like this, is that you're translating the weight from the front end to the hind end, okay? And then again, that is your break, if you like. But on a young horse, it is not. And that's where it gets very confusing, because there's riding refined, how we're taught at the riding school, how we generally ride a ridden horse. But it completely changes when you go onto a young horse. And because your riding's got to change, one, to help the horse, but also you're not riding in refinement anymore. You're training.
Right.
You're training on a baby horse that doesn't understand. So it's going to look messy. Your hands might have to come up here. You might have to offset your balance for them to stay in between your legs and your hands, okay? It's always going to look messy before it gets better, because you're training the horse. It's nothing about, you can't ride a baby horse all the time like this, because he won't understand.
Like you would an intermediate horse.
Exactly. First of all, you have to teach him his ABCs, and then you can start refining from out here to here to here to here.
Excellent, that was.
Good.